Ko tangaroa pō tōku ingoa. Today we'll be reading my new book, Rere atu taku poi, Let My Poi Fly. Illustrations by Rebecca Gibbs, published by Auckland Council Libraries and Oratia Books. Rangi and the other students at Kura were practicing for their end-of-year celebration ceremony. Roaring haka, waiata and mōteatea boomed out from the whare tapere. The tama did their best pukana and spat out their whetero, while slapping chest as hard as they could. The haka was their time to shine. When it was the girls' turn, the boys mucked around behind them. They were being hoha, all except Rangi. Rangi loved watching the kōtiro perform, especially when they were doing poi. He loved the actions and how they sang and danced without making mistakes. He couldn't help himself. Kia kaha wahine mā, karawhiua ngā poi, he shouted. The boys looked at him. Why are you acting like a girl? Teased Manu. The poi is for girls, called out Kapua. Ew, that's dumb. You should just do the haka. Kāti te whakaiti I a Rangi, growled their kaiako. For the rest of the day, the kids laughed at Rangi. Rangi felt embarrassed. After school, Rangi went to Nana Mere's whare. He went straight to the taonga box and pulled out a pair of poi and a patu. Nana took out her piu-piu and unravelled it. Let me wrap this around you nice and tight so your poi and patu will stay in place, she said. Rangi went to Nana's box of National Kapahaka competition videotapes. He chose the one he loved the most, put it in the machine and pushed play. He watched in wonder as the wahine performed poi and pukana and the way they used their hands to wiri. Rangi copied the elegant movements of the wahine. He knew the movements by heart and they felt natural to him. Rangi also knew that his love of poi was something that set him apart from other kids. When he was teased, even though it hurt his feelings, Rangi knew he was a tupua. The next morning, Rangi walked to Kura with Tu, his best friend and male leader, for their showcase. The students were going to have a last practice before their big performance. But something wasn't right. Hine, who always led the poi, looked pale. When she finished her performance, Rangi saw her run outside. Later, that afternoon, the students were told Hine wouldn't be able to perform that evening. The tauira were worried. That evening, as they got ready to go on stage, they wondered how they could perform without Hine. Who would lead them? Rangi saw the teacher and Tu looking at him and began to worry. Rangi, you know the poi. You can do Hine's part, called Tu. Rangi froze. The Kura kids stared at Rangi and asked each other, how could he know the poi actions? Tu told them, every morning when I meet Rangi for school, I see him performing poi. You know how to do it, don't you? He asked Rangi. Kind of, Rangi replied. There was no time for a practice run. Rangi could hear the kaiako introducing the kapahaka. E te whānau kia haruru mai te whare, tēnā homai te pīki paki ki ngā tamariki o te kura. The tauira began with the waiata tira, then the haka pōhiri, and then moved to the mōteatea and waiata āringa. Finally, it was time for the poi. Wahine mā, ki ngā poi. The girls moved into their line. Rangi walked on and took centre stage. He could see the audience was puzzled. He heard them asking, why is he there? Surely a boy can't lead the poi. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He remembered how he felt when performing the poi at Nana Mere's whare. He began to sing. Rere atu taku poi, rere atu rā, taku poi tipua. The rest of the group joined him. The crowd cheered and clapped for Rangi and the girls in the group. Rangi began to enjoy himself. He threw the poi into the air, spun around and caught them. Rangi wanted to finish in style. He pulled out a pair of long poi and threw them into a pūrere hua, just as he had seen on the videos at Nana's whare. The crowd was stunned. Even the performing rōpū was quiet. No one had ever seen a child perform poi like Rangi just did. They began clapping, whistling and cheering. The stomping of feet was heard all around the neighbourhood near the school. The crowd erupted into cheers when the poi ended. Rangi felt amazing. He felt he belonged. He felt he was being his true self. As everyone settled down, the rōpū prepared for their last item, the haka. Rangi returned to the group of boys. He knew that's what everyone expected. But he knew something was different. He had performed poi with the girls, and he wondered, what would it be like to perform as a kaihaka wahine? Nō reira e te iwi, stay tuned for Rangi's next story. Noho ora mai.